There's an October solar eclipse on the way for many in the US, Mexico, and Canada. Welcome back to Techstination. I'm Fred Fishkin. Joining us from Celestron is Product Development Manager John Riutta. Hi, John.
Hello, Fred. How are you today?
Terrific. Great to meet you. And there's a lot going on in the world of astronomy in the coming weeks and months too, I think, right? So a lot of excitement there.
Oh, there's always something interesting going on up there. There's never a dull moment in the skies.
Well, tell us what we're anticipating during October here.
Well, October is something called an annular eclipse. Now, an annular eclipse is a little bit different than a total eclipse. The mechanics are the same, except that the moon is farther away from the Earth. And so consequently, the disk of the moon does not cover the entire solar disk at totality. So instead of reaching a complete blackout with the sun entirely obscured by the moon, what we will see is an annular ring, or sometimes referred to as the ring of fire. And it, quite frankly, whereas the total eclipses have a very strong psychological force at totality, an annular eclipse is actually a quite beautiful phenomenon. And so when you see the solar disk completely ringing the moon, that's quite a sight. That's something that people don't often think about with an eclipse. And so it's something that people shouldn't miss.
And beyond that, though, looking ahead to the coming year, there's more on the way.
The total, yes, in 2014 or 2024, that will be a classic total eclipse, and that will be complete darkness at totality, exactly what people have long expected back to the days of 2017 when we had the previous total.
And when will that happen?
That's in April.
In April of next year. So lots of excitement. And as we always see before an event like this, lots of cautionary words from officials in terms of how people can observe an
Yes, and
eclipse.
that is something that's very important, because observing a solar eclipse needs to be done safely if you're going to prevent damage to your eyes. And over the years, I remember when I was a boy, there was a solar eclipse, and our teachers were teaching us how to make pinhole projectors with shoe boxes so that we didn't look directly at the sun, but rather put the image of the sun through a pinhole onto the back of a shoebox so that we could observe the phenomena safely. That's still something that's fun to do. It's a great experiment for the family. But if you want to get a direct look at a solar eclipse, you do need some sort of safety viewing device. Now, in the case of Celestron, we offer a wide range of viewing glasses and magnified instruments such as binoculars and even a telescope that's designed for safe viewing of a solar eclipse or the solar disk at any time that you wish to view it. Of course, there are sunspot cycles that are constantly going on. And so it's not just for eclipses that you should have one of these instruments ready at hand. You can use them for a variety of things. But back to the solar eclipse. When a solar eclipse is approaching, the observation of it must always be done with a safety instrument in place. So as soon as the solar eclipse begins, anytime that the viewer wants to look directly at the solar disk, they must have either solar glasses or a specifically designed solar binocular or telescope in front of their eyes. You cannot, and I cannot stress this enough, you cannot look directly at the sun without a protective device that is specifically designed and has been tested to be safe when doing so. The ramifications are dire. You could literally damage the retina of your eye and be left with a permanent black spot in your field of vision. That's the reason that all of the Celestron devices have gone to we've gone to the trouble of making sure that they conform to the ISO standard for instruments used in viewing the sun. And we have detailed instructions with all of them for how to do so safely.
And on your website, you have a whole category of solar safe products.
Mhm.
And it's many of them are quite affordable. I mean, really affordable. You can equip a family for under $40, an 8-piece
Oh,
solar
yes.
eclipse observing kit, for
Yes,
instance.
no, this is the solar eclipse is one of those great phenomena that is accessible to everyone. You can start with a simple, safe Eclipse Smart solar viewing glass. And you can get a set of these to outfit your whole family. Teachers can get sets of them for classrooms. They're still very affordable. Even the binoculars and the telescope. Now, there are special telescopes that are highly sophisticated that are used in solar photography. Those are a completely different class of instruments. They're very sophisticated. They're extremely complex. That's not what we're talking about here. What we're talking about is the Eclipse Smart line of products that offers the glasses, kits for viewing, 4 binoculars that all have built-in solar filters. They cannot be removed, and a simple telescope with another built-in solar filter, cannot be removed. And then for those who already do have telescopes, we do offer Eclipse Smart filters that can be attached over existing telescopes. We have very detailed information on the Eclipse Smart section of the Celestron website, and that will give anyone who has any of our telescopes already what information they need to know if one of our filters can be used with their telescope for this purpose.
When it comes to viewing with binoculars, I mean, if people already have a pair of your terrific binoculars, and you've got such a great range, can they equip those to observe the eclipse, or do they need to buy a special pair of binoculars?
I would not recommend taking the risk of putting a removable filter onto an existing binocular. There is not a way that it can be secured into position so that it might not accidentally be removed. Also, that particular filter would not have been tested with that particular binocular. That's the reason that we developed the Celestron Eclipse Smart line. They're not expensive. They're a straightforward traditional Poro binocular that is designed specifically for observation of the sun, with the filters built directly in front of the objective lenses. So they are the instrument that really should be used if you're going to use a binocular to observe the sun.
Terrific. And pricing starts at under $50, I think.
Yes, yes, they're really quite affordable. There's no reason that anyone who has an interest in seeing this and seeing it magnified could not easily go out and get one of these instruments. And again, this is not something that's simply for the upcoming October or the 2024 April eclipse. This is something that can be used at any time. So for instance, say you're watching the Weather Channel or you get the daily news update and it says that there's a sunspot activity going on. Well, you can take these binoculars and go outside and look and see what exactly the sunspot activity that's being mentioned is. Now, that's not something that people think about when they hear of such things, but they're commonly discussed in weather forecasts and other science updates. We have a high sunspot cycle. We have a low sunspot cycle. All of these things can be engaged in by anyone with an interest in observing astronomical phenomena with one of these Eclipse Smart binoculars. It always amazes me when I talk to people and they say that, oh yes, we watched the solar eclipse and there'll be another one someday and then maybe we'll be interested in the sun again. But the reality, there's always something happening on the sun. And more, we're getting more and more reports. So for instance, space weather and such is giving reports of solar cycles. There's no reason that someone couldn't take a Celestron Eclipse Smart binocular or a Celestron Eclipse Smart telescope and go out and actually see some of what they're talking about for themselves.
Just terrific. And with the evolution of the telescopes that you have, some specifically, I guess, for the eclipse and the binoculars, You have your regular line, and then specifically for the Eclipse. Is this a fairly new line, the Eclipse Smart?
The Eclipse Smart was brought out in 2017, and it was the first of any that we know that was designed for observation of the sun with a dedicated binocular instrument. There have been various attempts in the past to put filters on things and such. There are still companies that sell such things. But we took the step to say that as the leader in astronomical instruments, and that includes binoculars, that we were going to make the decision and provide an instrument for effective and safe observation of solar phenomena, with the main emphasis being, of course, eclipses, because that's the one that has the widest public interest. It's the one that's most dynamic. So yes, we were really the groundbreakers in this.
Terrific. For more information, I guess the best place to go is the Celestron website, and then they can search for Eclipse.
Celestron.com, just tap in Eclipse Smart or Solar Eclipse. It'll take you right to the direction you want to go.
Well, thank you for the innovation and for sharing your knowledge. John Riutta, thank you for spending time with us.
Well, it's been my pleasure. Thank you very much.